feeling really insecure about myself lately. Like, it's dumb stuff too. Like, I don't know, just people make me feel bad about myself and mostly looks. And so I think I might grow a beard. I don't know. It seems like people who have beards, everybody likes them. Like Riley, people think he's cool. Geo. I mean, you have half a beard, so people think you're like half cool, I guess. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I should grow a beard?
Yeah.
I think that might be cool.
First of all, we're live, and yes, I think you should grow a beard. You would look totally good in a beard, so yes, you should grow a beard.
You know, I wear
And
a
this is
shirt.
not half a beard. What?
I wear a shirt that's like yours. Like I go for the Hawaiian style shirt theme.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, look, I try to, and then you betray me like this. I'm trying to tell you how I feel, and then you just betray me like this. Like, how does this happen? How does this keep happening? I don't understand.
I don't betray you.
I guess let's just talk about the book that we read.
Yeah.
Let's just jump in now that everyone knows how I'm feeling about myself. Jesus. Oh, man.
This is the OmniDog and T-Bone show. OmniDog and T-Bone show, where we discuss comics and action figures. Today we're going to discuss Black Widow, Waid and Samnee's issues 1 through 6, which I enjoyed so much that I went immediately and finished 7 through 12. I loved it so much, which I predict after this show, T-Bone is going to finish 7 through 12 also, now that he's all done with his taxes.
Woo! First day done celebrations.
That's right.
Man, I am so stoked. You know, you asked me to read this book, this Black Widow book, and I was like, that sounds stupid. I don't care about Black Widow. Like, I've never found her that compelling in the comics. In the movies, she's like, whatever. I mean, not the biggest Scarlett Johansson fan. And boy, was I wrong. This book was legit.
Yeah, this book rocks really hard. She is like the ultimate fighting machine, and there's nothing that can stop her in this book at all. It's really smartly written.
Very.
She is just an ultimately driven, just badass fighter, and no time to stop for anything. She's just going from one mission to the other in this. Now, we don't have the greatest. I mean, we both have it on Marvel Unlimited, so it's on our iPads. But it is just fabulous artwork. And Samnee, Chris Samnee, also wrote it with Mark Waid, and he drew it, so he does double duty on this book. But
duty.
Dirty. But she is just super well written by these guys.
Absolutely.
And do you want to sum up what you first read?
Yeah. So the first arc, spoiler alert, basically starts off with her breaking out of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's stolen something, and they're on the loudspeaker saying, "Don't let her leave the building." And it just, man, that first issue throws you into the action. And it is just nonstop from that point on. She takes something and you don't really know what it is. And she ends up meeting this guy called the Weeping Lion, who has some information that he blackmails her with. And she decides to work for him to prevent him from releasing this information. Reminded me of a callback to the movie when Black Widow is at the end of Winter Soldier and she's talking to the director of everything, Robert Redford's character.
Right.
And she says, I'm going to put it all out there. And they're like, do you want to put it all out there? Because there's a lot of bad stuff on you too. And she's like, let's just do it. And in this, she's threatened with that same thing. And she's like, nope, I'm going to work for you. And it takes her back to Russia for a little bit. She has to go back to the place she was trained. And there's mystery and intrigue there about some of the people that trained her and the people who were her contemporaries as kids trained in the Red Room. It was just a phenomenal story. And the culmination and the ending was fantastic. I thought it left on such a strong note after this first arc. It was beyond shocking to me how well it was done. Yeah, look at the storytelling elements here and in the artwork. Well, the story, let's just hit on the story first before we just like gush over the artwork.
Yeah.
Mark Waid, I thought, wrote a very succinct, well-paced, action-packed, but believable story about Black Widow. What about you?
I totally agree with that. Couldn't put it any better myself.
You know, I think sometimes when writers have a tendency to take some of these non-superpowered characters and write them in a way that is just somewhat unbelievable, where like they're just so strong, or they're taking out like 30 guys at one time, or, you know, just doing things that just really aren't believable. But every instance that Black Widow is in a fight here, you know, she's the better fighter, but she never leaves unscathed. And she always wins in a very believable way. To me, at least, I thought it was extremely well written.
Yeah, totally. It is. She is one step ahead of everybody all the time, but it always seems believable that it happens, that she's like that. She is always super well prepared for every contingency. And I love books like that where she has no superpowers, but she's sort of like I almost, you know, like a well-trained female version of Batman, where she's just one step ahead of everybody and gets not one step, but she's like 3 steps ahead of everybody. She's just so well trained and knows everything and everybody on the chessboard so well that she's there's not a contingency that she doesn't know about, and there doesn't seem to be anything that phases her.
Yeah.
Now they do in the first 6 issues with this Weeping Lion guy. They do have that one thing on her, that the blackmail thing on her.
She seems really surprised that they have it, and there's a lot of espionage back and forth. Let's put it that way, where like she's got secrets, he's got secrets, other people who show up have secrets.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's phenomenal. And then we return to the Red Room. And, you know, honestly, I did not know that much about her character in terms of the comics outside of the times I've seen her appear and her story in the movies. So I was a little bit concerned that perhaps you'd have to know a lot about her to really enjoy her or understand her. And she was so well written, and it was so easily explained that I didn't feel like I missed anything by not knowing about the character. So if you don't feel like strongly towards the character, or like you have a good history with the character, don't let that deter you from reading this book, because you can just jump right in and there's nothing before that you have to know. And there's honestly, I don't know how long this is going to go, but I'm assuming that everything that you will have to know will be explained in the stories, because so far it was.
Yeah, you're right. This is very new reader friendly and gives you excellent background on her. It definitely gets wrapped up in the 12 issue arc that it gives you, and it gives you good history on her. But it is very new reader friendly, and I recommend it to anybody with even a passing interest in any kind of super spy,
absolutely,
kind of reading, because it's really fun and it's just super exciting, very amazing. She's got just amazing moves, and she's got it's snappy dialogue, but it's not dialogue that is it's not snarky kind of. It's not Spider-Man, not the typical Spider-Man dialogue.
It's not overly quippy. There's not a lot of jokes, but it is really cleverly written. In fact, there's one part here that I pulled up where she's talking to somebody and they're like, do you have the package? Like, wow, must be one heck of a package. Do you have it? And she's like, who do you think I am, Hawkeye? Yeah, of course I have it. I got the package, which was just a great like slight to Hawkeye, just like stuff like that. That was just so well written.
Yeah.
It was really a really fun read. All right,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the artwork.
Okay.
And specifically, not just the art, which was incredible. I loved every single panel. But the things that stood out to me art-wise was one, Matt Wilson, who I'm not super familiar with, did the coloring. And wow, the colors in this book work so well for the art style and the story style. It reminded me a little bit of Waid's Daredevil. I'm not sure if this same colorist and writer combo was on there because I haven't read that yet, but I've seen some of the artwork and it reminded me a little bit of that. It's got a real nostalgic feel to it, the artwork, but it's
yeah, like the colors right here.
Colors that really make it work. Yes. And in the flashbacks, it's all like monotone except for her red hair, which pops so well. I thought the coloring was great. And then there was something really special about the panel layout. To me, it was just so well done. Like, look at this right here. This is golly, stupid glare. This is a really awesome one-on-one fight scene with her and an agent. There you go. If I do it like this, maybe with her and an agent. And it's like, 10, 12 panels, but it's so well done. And it flows so well that I thought the panel breakdown was one of the strongest points of this book. The way that the pages are laid out, oftentimes were very unique. There wasn't a whole lot of just your standard layouts. They break it up in a good way. But I don't know, to me, it almost felt cinematic in that way.
Oh, that's a good point. That is a really good point.
I mean, here we've got her talking to somebody and, there's a wide shot, which is your first shot. And then there's close up, then super wide shot, and then close up again. Just feels very cinematic to me. Big fan of that. Big fan of the layouts.
Yeah. That is a really good point. Yeah, the way it's laid out is really remarkable. Yeah, I love this whole it felt like an event to me, not an event where it's a Marvel wide event with tie-ins and stuff, but it was like a big deal to me, this book, like a big deal in her life and an event in her life. And it was like a milestone. It was a huge deal that had happened. It wasn't just a little Black Widow story where she went from point A to point B. This was like a major deal in her life that Mark Waid and Chris Samnee made happen. And it was thrilling and nonstop and it was just major things happened from just every page. She was exposed and having to settle stuff and having to put fires out and find secrets and hide secrets and do different things. And it was just nonstop pushing it all the time. But there was a huge story underneath. It wasn't just punching people and everything. There was a major league story underneath that was really well done. And I loved the whole thing.
My favorite part of the book was the cemetery scene. There's a great scene in the cemetery in which she is surveilling two people, Maria Hill, and I believe that was Nick Fury.
I think his name was Elder.
Elder, that's right. I'm sorry, it was Elder. You're right.
Yeah.
I said his name. It's Elder.
Yeah.
And she's surveying them, and she realizes there's a strike team that's going to assassinate somebody, and she thinks it's Maria Hill. So they're just at the cemetery, which is a secret SHIELD cemetery where one of their agents died on a mission with Black Widow, which was interesting. And she is protecting Elder and Maria Hill without them knowing she's there. So because it's raining, and so it's such like a spy thriller, like she's walking up behind people and killing them or incapacitating them. And at the very end, at the end of the scene, this guy reveals that, oh, there was one more agent you didn't account for, and it was the pastor or the priest. And he's got C4 under his jackets. And she remarks, well, what's stopping you then? You can just kill him. Go ahead and do it. And they're like, oh, no, we weren't here for Maria Hill. We were here for you.
Yeah.
And then they take her into captivity. And it was just, oh, it was such a well done scene.
Yep.
So
that would
good.
be that would be a great movie scene.
That's what I kept thinking. I'm like, I hope that when they make the Black Widow movie, they could just adapt the story. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely, it would work perfectly in the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a well-written, solidly grounded story that would fit perfectly. I think my favorite thing, though, about the whole story, by far, bar none, is that it made me feel so much better about this action figure purchase. Because this is the bike she's riding in the series, and that's her look from the series.
Yeah.
It's a Marvel Legends, and it's not Action Figure Friday yet. That'll come tomorrow. But it's just a really fun action figure that I picked up for half off on sale, but had no connection to. I was like, I don't have a good Black Widow. Let's get it. Sure. And now that I've read the book, I'm like, this is awesome. I need to have that book here so I can put her right in front of it. It's so good. I'm so glad I have this.
That is a boss figure and bike. That's for sure.
Very cool. So overall, was it compelling?
Oh, very compelling. I immediately went to issue 7 through 12 to finish the story. So I found it immensely compelling.
I also found it incredibly compelling, despite my reservations about reading it and thinking it was going to be lame. It was not lame. It was awesome. It was so good. And I can't wait to read 7 through 12.
Awesome. Good.
Very good. Highly recommend. This might be, out of everything we've read, this is up there at the top of what I would recommend to somebody.
I think so too. It grabs you and does not let you go at all. Yeah.
I don't really like this gesture. I feel like that's not appropriate.
You're gonna have to live with that.
I regret that. You're gonna have to this. No, just put the hands down.
Yeah, you're gonna have to live with that now.
I can't. I don't know that I can. I don't like it. Overall, A++. If you haven't read it, go pick it up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree with that grade. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. I don't know how I'm going to get Mark Waid to sign it. It's on my iPad. I'm going to see him at Baltimore, but I'm going to, maybe I can pick up the trade paperback of it and get him to sign it or something.
Perfect.
I just loved it.
Perfect.
Loved it. Okay. So, OmniDog and T-Bone give this thing an A++, and we highly recommend it to you guys. We really think you should read it. So please leave a comment if you'd like. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and participate in any way that you think you can. Come up with other books for us to review if you like.
Yep.
We're always up for suggestions on that. And tune in tomorrow for Action Figure Friday.
It's going to be... It's going to be an episode, Jess.
We have big hauls to show.
Maybe the biggest haul I have ever hauled of anything in my life.
Wow. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be fun.
Excellent. Okay. Well, that's you've really got my curiosity up now. So until tomorrow when we see big haulage, thank you, everybody. Peace and love. Peace and love.